Hello, YouTube family. I'm coming at you from a different place than I normally am. Couldn't talk either. Actually, I am at my daughter's home, and anyways, I've just kind of took a few minutes because I've kind of been absent from YouTube for the last couple of days, so I apologize. I'm drinking my Diet DP. But I did want to talk to you about, I was inspired by a video that Regina Michelle just posted, and if I don't forget, I will tag her. And I was watching her content. Oops, sorry about that. I slid a little bit. I was watching her content on how she couldn't quit her 9-to-5 job, because there are so many videos on YouTube right now, and that's the trend, is quit your 9-to-5 job, quit your 9-to-5 job, which, I think that might have been started by Miss Dodash, which my hat's off to her. She's doing an amazing job. But not everybody is in that position. I know I've watched some videos, people just did go quit their 9-to-5 job, and I think that's wonderful. Now, I personally can't quit my 9-to-5 job. I've been very honest. I'm 58 years old, and I started YouTube with the hopes that someday that I would get monetized and be able to maybe slow down a little bit as far as working. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but I want to kind of tell you my story, how I ended up as far as where I'm working at now. And I tell y'all I work in a funeral home now. I did a lot of soul searching with myself over the last few years. My mother passed away last year, and it was very heartbreaking. She was 93, but her death was very traumatizing, and to me and my whole family, and it was just hard. I mean, yes, she had a good life for 93 years, but yesterday was her birthday along with my daughter's birthday, and so I'm really missing her right now. But I'm very grateful that I am I had her. I'm with my daughter right now. I flew out to see her. So anyways, back to Regina Michelle. I got to watching this video of her talking about she wasn't able to quit her 9-to-5 job, and I am kind of in that same boat. I'm not married. I've been single for almost 10 years. I have a home that I'm slowly trying to pay off. I have bills just like everybody else, and it is really hard in this economy right now. And my hat's off to people who are trying to raise families in this economy, because it's tough for anybody, and it's tough for me, and it's just me and my 4 dogs. So anyways, I kind of wanted to tell you about leaving the corporate world, or making the decision of leaving the corporate world. I had went to work after my mom passed, and I feel like this job was a blessing to me, because it was working in a nursing home where not at the same nursing home my mother was, but my mother had passed in a nursing home. And not that I blame them or anything, but anyways, I try to get through this. Anyway, so I took this job. My sister said, take this job at this other nursing home. My sister had worked there when her son had passed, and she said it was very healing to me. And so I took the job, and I was a social service director there. And I loved the job, but it was just me. I was the only social service director. I did not have an assistant. And it was I was very stressed. And I would go to work at 8 a.m., and I wouldn't leave there sometimes till 8 or 9 o'clock at night. Then when I was asked why I had overtime, how come I stayed and had overtime, it was like, well, I can't get all my work done because, morning to afternoons, I was having to see patients and take care of their needs and find them, resources and stuff. And so the paperwork would just pile up. So in the evenings, I would try to get my paperwork done from usually about 4:30 on, because they would take and have dinner, and then normally they would take their meds and they would go to bed. So that's when I got a lot of my paperwork done was in the evening. So I took that job, and I worked it for a little over 6 months, and I realized I was worn out. I was exhausted, and then they cut my overtime, and I wasn't making a whole lot, not for the responsibilities I had. So, and if you've ever worked in a corporate job, it's really hard because you have to answer to a lot of rules and regulations. But, with the nursing home industry, there needs to be a lot of rules and regulations. I was a big advocate for my patients or for my residents. And, I fought tooth and nail for them and wanted them to have the best care. And I think just losing my mother really helped that I had that passion to see that they were well taken care of and that their needs were met. And so I took that job very seriously because not only was I honoring my mother's memory, but I wanted to make sure that my residents were well taken care of. And sometimes when you work for a corporate like that, your hands are tied, and it's very frustrating because I would sometimes use my own personal money and personal time to take care of these residents, make sure their needs were met, because a lot of them didn't have families and stuff. So that really took a strain on me. But so anyways, I was able to apply for another job in the same area, but I was actually a manager in what they called a waiver manager, and I worked for a company that basically took care of people that had that were like needed assistance with living on their own and stuff. So I did that for a while, but it was funny when I took this job, I worked with some other managers. Well, I found out that the other managers didn't want the position that I had because it was a very hard position, and it was over an apartment facility. And again, I was over 25 people with special needs, and I had to make sure, doctor's appointments were set and everything was in check. But I also had about 90 employees under me, if that many, that I had to make sure that positions were filled and they were, working when they were supposed to be and not stealing hours from the company. And and I took that very seriously too, because sometimes I would stay out late at night. I was supposed to go to work at 8, and I got off sometimes not till 8 or 9, 10 o'clock at night because, and I apologize, my daughter's dogs are barking. So I would catch myself staying late, and then I would catch people clocking hours when they shouldn't have been. And anyways, like I said, I'm just one of those. I don't like people to take advantage of me. And I'm just a very, I tell people, I will be your best friend and I will do anything for you, but you piss me off, then I don't want to be a mean, I don't want to be a hard ass, but I don't like to be taken advantage of. So don't take advantage of my kindness. So I did that job, and about 2 weeks in it, I was like, this ain't for me. What do I do? But, I was making really good money, but I was on call 24 hours. I had a work phone, and, people would call me all hours of the night, and, I just had no time for myself, which anyway, so I left that job because I had been working for a funeral home part-time the last couple of years, just doing funerals and stuff when they needed me, or just doing filling in for secretaries. And it wasn't like I did it a lot, but it was enough to give me a little extra money. So they had a full-time position open up, and I took that position, and I was so grateful because now I got out of the corporate world. I work 8 to 4. A lot of times I do a lot of housekeeping, keeping the place clean, but I do a lot of paperwork. I have to do a lot of memorials. I like to do a lot of graphic designing, so I like to design memorials for people, and when we do funerals and stuff, and I can make videos, video montage. It's just a very creative outlet, and I do assist if they need some help with, the deceased and stuff. So I do like to do stuff like that as well. It's just a different kind of work, and I just have a compassion for that, especially coming off of losing my mother. So I was very grateful when that job was offered to me, but when I'm going to not make this a long video, but that job was offered to me, and I was really in a good place. I mean, I had a career, had a good job, and I remember my sister saying, you're 58 years old. Are you going to be able to still be chasing people down and, working at 9 o'clock at night, catching people doing things they shouldn't be doing, and, taking hours they weren't supposed to be? And she was like, are you going to still be doing this? And so I had to have a really heart-to-heart with myself and with God. And I have always worked in some type of service, like where I worked for DHS, and I worked in foster care. And I was a big advocate for my clients who were in the system. And sometimes they get a bad rap, but I went above and beyond. So like I said, again, that's one of those things when you work for corporate and stuff like that, your hands are tied. Kind of like working with the state, they have their rules and you kind of got to abide by them. And if you don't, then you kind of get booted, I guess. So I had worked a lot of jobs like that. I'd worked in the social services and human services and stuff. And so I just had to have a heart-to-heart with myself and with God. And so last March, I hung up what I tell everybody, my Superman cape. I was at the age that I couldn't save people anymore, and I couldn't take care of everybody. And I guess that was just after I took care of my mom or helped with my sister and I, and my brother took care of my mom. So I just had to hang up my Superman cape, is what I tell everybody. So I left that position and I went to work in a funeral home where I'd like to now I'm like an administrative assistant or secretary. And I do a lot of other things, like if they need help with lifting and stuff and moving caskets and stuff like that, and just greeting families and working funerals and stuff like that. It's just a whole different world, and it's very warming to the heart. And so anyways, I love my job, and and I'm more likely I will stay there as long as I can. I tell everybody till the day I die, because then I'll work that day and they can bury me and I can have my funeral. So, but now I'm thinking, I enjoy my job and I have good benefits and stuff, but I still don't make enough to make my ends meet. So I do have some side hustles, like I have some flea market booths that I work, but also now that I'm here with my daughter, and she made a remark to me, she's like, oh, well, you can come stay down here, and we're just torn, and but Regina Michelle, I think that was her name, I'll tag her, but she really hit my heart, and she pulled my heartstrings, and I totally understand. And she's quite a bit younger than me, but it is hard. I mean, we just can't go quit a 9-to-5 job. I mean, especially if you're taking care of yourself like myself. I don't have anybody else to take care of me. I take care of me. So anyways, I just wanted to share my story as far as corporate life and why at 58 I decided to leave it, and took a little bit of a pay cut, but my mind, mentally, I'm in a better place, thank God. I'm not exhausted or drained, and I do have a few little health things that I'm kind of dealing with right now, so it's probably a good thing that I'm not still running around with my Superman cape on. Anyway, so I just wanted to share my story as far as leaving the corporate world, and I hope it's inspiring to one of y'all, but you do get to the age where you just can't save everybody, and at this age, I've decided I got to start focusing on myself and looking out for Candace. So I appreciate you. I really went longer than I planned on, but I wanted to share this story with you because there's a lot of us that just can't quit our jobs right now, as much as I would love to, and be able to be fully monetized on YouTube would be wonderful. I hope that happens someday so that I can go be with my daughter in another state. But we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what the future holds. Only God knows, and I just put everything in His hands. But like I said, I'm in a good place now, and I'm very thankful that he placed me in the position that I'm in, and I was able to leave the corporate world. So my advice to you is, if you can get away from the corporate world and you can take a job where maybe like you work for a family like I do, they've owned the company or they've owned the funeral home for like 115, 17 years. So it's just a good place to be, and I just feel that God led me there for a reason. So anyways, I just want to share that with you, but not everybody can quit their 9-to-5 job, and I'm one of those. Actually, I'm an 8-to-4 job. I'm one of those, and not to mention I have a few side hustles I do too. So I'd appreciate it if you could just subscribe to my channel and maybe just comment. I would love to hear your comments down below about, your journey as maybe an over 50 or over 40 or however old you are, and about wanting to leave corporate. But I'm going to tell you, it was the best thing that I ever did for myself, so mentally and physically. So y'all have a good day. I'm going to get back to visiting with my daughter, and I will catch y'all next time.